Born in 1952 in Nairobi, Kenya, Zahida Mughal is the eldest of 11 siblings. She reminisces of a life playing in jungles, hunting and on safaris with her father, who is a military and police gun inspector. At the age of 21, she arrives in London as a young married woman to embark on a life as a mother of 9 children and a work life supporting her husband, which sees her working in what were very male-dominated spaces.
It's Thursday the 6th of March and I'm in Walthamstow at the home of Zahida Mughal.
Yes.
And I wanted to begin by asking you, when were you born?
I was born in 1952.
Thank you. And whereabouts were you born?
In Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you. And what did your father do for a living?
He was inspector of arms, and he used to go on safaris and go and check these guns and stuff for military and in the police as well. So he used to travel a lot all around in Nairobi, in Kenya, and we used to go with him sometimes.
Did you, as children?
Yes, as children. When we were on holidays, we used to go with him.
And what did that involve? Do you mind telling me a bit more about that?
Yes, they were mostly huts he used to live in. And we used to go there, and for a week or so, we would live with him during our holidays. And then he used to go to hunting because his bosses were English people, from Britain, and he used to work for them. And they loved hunting, and my father was a very good hunter. Yes, and we used to go hunting with him as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
And when you say we, is that you, your brothers and sisters?
Not all of my brothers and sisters, only the elder ones. The younger ones were with my mom. And we used to travel a lot, yes, on safaris.
That sounds like quite an exciting childhood. Did it feel exciting?
It was very, very exciting because, I would like to go back there. I want to be a child and go back. It was very interesting childhood I had. It was before Jomo Kenyatta became the president. My father knew him as a friend, and he used to go and visit him and Mr. Moi as well. So it was, I think, the British person who my dad used to work for, his name was Pridgen. I remember that name very well. And once in Isiolo, we were on holiday, and he invited us to his home. And we had, the first time I had olives there, and I hated them. They were so disgusting at that time. So how can they eat this? So, and then he gave us, we used to eat Cadbury chocolate, my dad used to bring, but he gave us Aero, the minty one, the green and chocolate, and I loved it. You see, I said, oh my God, I wish he invites us more often. We were very little then.
Yeah.
And in Isiolo, the first time, there was limes and lemons were very small in Nairobi. But in Isiolo, we were playing around, and we used to run around like wild, all jungles there, only our hut, and there was jungles, and elephants used to come around our house, and at night, and we used to run around in the jungle. And there was a house with a very big fencing around it, and there was a tree, and it had very big lemons on it, and they would fall down and outside. So we used to pick them up and bring them home and say, look, Mom, what is this? What fruit is this? And she said, this is lemons. And as we used to use them for cooking when my father used to bring hunting home deers and stuff. And we used to make the meat, and it was called mustakia in Swahili, and we used to use that lemon on that, and we loved the hunting. And I used to when I was a bit bigger, I used to help my mum and the servants to make the meat, to take the skin off the animal. And from there I loved cooking, started cooking. I used to love it, and till now I love cooking.
We'll talk a bit more about your cooking in a moment, but your childhood just sounds extraordinary to me.
It is.
And in my mind, I'm trying to see what would you have worn at the time? Can you remember how you
We used to wear long dresses. At that time, it was very, very long dresses, and socks and shoes, and like Little House on the Prairie. We were like that, very long dresses. And I had used to have two plaits because my mom used to look after our hair, and we had very tight plaits around us. And I remember those Little House Prairie girls. We were like that, all my sisters, and we used to run around like them. It was just like that. Sometimes our house would be on a hill, and we would run down and up, and it was so beautiful. And then when I came here, I said, oh my God, it is so grey and cold. And all the buildings looked black to me, grey and old buildings. I said, is this London? Oh my God, there's no color to it. It was all grey. Believe me, there was, no sun, nothing. And then when I came home, and it was so depressing, all men, and there was a family upstairs. There were so many people in one house, and we had a room, and my God, I was so depressed. I said, I started crying. And then I came here, and when I was young, I used to love sewing and making myself very beautiful clothes. And I was, very fond of, dressing up and all that. But I had a good figure. I was not very, like now. And um, you know what? I came here and I had to wear a coat, and all my dress would hide, and I had to wear a scarf or a cap or whatever to make myself warm. And I said, what is the use of these dresses and all? Nobody can see them. My husband said, I can see them when you are not wearing a coat at home. But I said, it's not the point. And I stopped wearing them, and I would stay in a nightie. And I said, I don't like dressing up here. And there's only one room, and the house was in a mess because all men, they would not clean up. And the first few, at least it took me 1 month to, shine the house up, especially the kitchen, because I love cooking. So I cleaned everything up, and then there was nothing to do. And then in March, I was expecting my first child, Sadia. And then, I started making myself busy by knitting some, cardigans for her, and shawls, and then making blankets. And I loved making the small pillows and everything, because here it was all English clothes and everything, and you couldn't find anything for Asian dressing. The material we used to buy was English, but I used to you make very nice patterns out of them and make myself nice clothes. And everybody would ask me, where did you buy this? And I said, I made myself. And like that, all this, when my other children were born, and the teachers would admire my dresses. And they said, oh, you're so clever. Why can't you teach? Because there are adult education classes here. And similar like cooking as well. They would ask me to teach us this dish, whatever I used to make. And then they helped me open up, teaching adult education, open classes in there. And I was the first woman to teach Asian cooking and Asian dressmaking.
That's amazing. Yeah. Whereabouts did you do that? Was it in school, did you say?
Yeah, it was youth center. It's no more there on what was Mark House Road. Yes, Mark House Road.
About what year would that have been?
That was 83. 81, 80, yeah, 83, about 83.
So you did one class of Indian cooking or Asian cooking,
Asian cooking and one of sewing, yeah, and Asian dressmaking.
Yeah,
yeah. Because when people came here, there were not many places where they could have their dresses made. So I used to do dressing as well. I used to charge people, for. But I used to feel so guilty, taking their money. And I said, why don't you learn? And they said, there's no place. And then, all these things mounted up, and then we started this class.
There's two things I want to ask you about that. The first one is about where did you get the fabrics from?
From High Street, there was a stall that used to sell, good Meyer material. If we wanted to buy a yard, he would give us 1.5 yards. And then, we all women were mad going to him. And he used to sell so much cloth. His name was Nick. And he still owns a shop in High Street. But he's not here. He used to order some food from me as well. I've done so much of cooking for schools because they loved my cooking, and I used to take trays of samosas and pakoras and pizzas. I used to make very nice pizzas as well, and they used to for lunch time and break time they would order it, and then I would take trays and leave them in different schools, and they still remember my cooking.
What, with the cooking, was that something did you find it easy to get the ingredients you wanted when you first came?
By that time we had a shop in High Street, and we used to sell all the Indian and West Indian food. So for me it was very easy to get hold of stuff. And mostly English people, the ones who attended my class, they would it would be helpful for them to go to my shop and get them, because they knew that this is the name, and my husband would help them choose things which he knew what I was going to cook today.
It's perfect, it all worked together. I should clarify, when you say we had a shop, you meant you personally, don't you? Not you and your husband. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So your husband had a shop, and did you help out in the shop as well?
Yes, mostly all the outdoor work. I just went and applied for my provisional, and that came, and then from there I passed first time. And he could not believe me. I said, yes, I have. Because I am a person that if I want to do something, I would do it. Whatever difficult task it is, I would do it. Even men's job, I would do it, And he was so relaxed that I've got a wife who can do everything. So he just concentrated on his shop and forgot the home. So if the washing machine was not working, once I would call an engineer and I would stand there and see what he was doing, and then I would know what was wrong and what to touch, what to open, and the next time it would go, it wouldn't work. Then I would push it myself and fix it myself. So whatever jobs, even the TVs I would fix. I knew where the, this, what do you call it now? Fuse, where the fuse went and all that. I would open everything up.
And then you still did the helping in the shop.
Yeah,
and
cash and carries. I had my stomach here, and I would drive my husband around for deliveries, and I used to do the cash and carry myself. My son was young then, and then I was to go and deliver with my son or my husband to people's homes, because then it was easy for people would buy from you, because you could deliver them. They just rang my husband, and he used to write down the list of things they needed, and we used to go and deliver. Even to Wembley, up to Wembley, I used to go, Hendon, Wembley.